I think no surprises. People are quite careful about what they want to say. They're not sure how the rest of the party reacts. I know we have to ask BJP people who the next leader will be, but they can't answer because A, they don't know, and B, they haven't asked Nagpur. Ultimately, none of these guys will decide. The decision will be made by the RSS, so it's pointless asking them. But equally, there is a sense of accountability in the BJP, the sense of Mr. Advani offering to step down. He's behaved very gracefully. Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, who you had earlier on the program, gave perhaps the most graceful interview I've known him to give in his not very graceful life. So there is a sense of humility within the BJP, which is encouraging. What worries me about the left is that there is no sense of accountability. I mean, heads
Why do you feel that?
Well, has anybody offered to resign? Has Prakash Karat offered to resign? Even Sitaram Yechuri, who may want to say something, is not daring to say anything because there's this Stalinist line whereby the Politburo meets, there is no internal democracy, they don't talk outside, they make disastrous decision after decision, they're decimated, and they're all self-righteous at the end of it.
Shekhar, is that how you see it as well?
Well, unfortunately, mostly yes. I will not fully agree with the argument that CPM has no internal democracy. CPM has had a tradition of very robust internal democracy. In fact, I have often said that funnily the only two parties in India with some internal democracy are the BJP and CPM. The Congress party has none. So most parties carry their own Nagpur in India, right? Some on a horseback, some in a particular house, some someplace. But I think the left has to introspect on two things. And those are the questions I wanted to ask Sitaram if you have the time. One, did they make a mistake by not projecting a leader? Because Sitaram just said that the front that they projected perhaps failed to project an idea of stability and coherence and credibility. Was then their failure to project a leader? And the failure to project a leader was a direct product, or was it not, of the fact that these were really disparate groups with no common ideology or thinking? And second, does he think that the left and its allies paid a price because people got irritated with the idea of them trying to bring down a government midway through its term?
Can I just ask each one of you, you heard just before that Rahul Gandhi, very quick 30-second comment on that exchange that he just had after being quite the hero of this campaign for the Congress. What was your reaction in a nutshell?
Well, very measured and very mature. And I think one thing you've now learned watching him is that he will not drop a sound bite that will come back and haunt him. I think that is the quality of a batsman who's settling down for a long innings.
I would say very sincere and credible. I would say this about his entire electoral campaign speeches, and I think that he's being candid. In many places, he is being really spanning a bipartisan support. I mean, at the time when he, for instance, mentioned not only about Chandrababu Naidu's good work, but Nitish Kumar's good work.
Sincere, people felt it was a bad political comment, but he was just being sincere.
He was just being sincere and credible. I mean, he was speaking from the heart of what he saw development. In a sense, therefore, bipartisan, really.
Right.
I think he really enthused the youth. Without doubt, he put in very great hard work before the elections, during the elections. Travelled a great deal, addressed any meetings that the managers wanted him to address. But I think there was a hope in the youth that with him we get a chance to enter. And he really put in fielded a lot of young candidates, and they've done well. Right. So I think he really was a symbol of hope in the Congress party.
Three things, Barkhan Prannoy. One, he reminded me of his father, who when he was pushed to the wall could be very combative, could drop sound bites, but when he was comfortable, was humble, graceful, gracious. That was the Rahul Gandhi we saw today, very like Rajiv, paying tribute to Advani, seeming very measured, seeming very mellow. Not necessarily the Rahul Gandhi we saw at the press conference, where he was much more combative. I think that was point one. Point two, he said something about youth. I think that's going to be the theme of the Congress, that this is the victory of young India, and they're going to go on and about that. Third, there have been many questions about reform. I think he made it very clear that he's very much an Aam Aadmi man. His priority is not going to be corporate fat cats, it's going to be the poor of India, and that's how this government is going to run.
Clearly